Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Love and Real Estate. It's your girl, Danielle, and I'm sitting across from my love,
Daryl.
and we are actually coming to you from the beautiful Jamaica,
Specifically Montego Bay
here, and we're celebrating our 9-year anniversary. So we are here, have been enjoying paradise, beautiful pools and beaches, all-inclusive resorts. So all the eating and drinking we can indulge in. And we wanted to bring you an episode, while we were on vacation and relaxing.
Exactly. And actually this topic, before we get into the topic, you know that with Love and Real Estate, every podcast episode, we always talk about a economic topic and we talk about a love topic. Where as far as on the economic topic on this side, we're going to talk about something that's very dear to Danielle and I. When we first moved here, we was renting a townhome, and we had the cable guy over to hook up our cable. And I had him park in my parking space. Now, with most townhomes in Virginia, you are allotted 2 parking spaces. These parking spaces belong to you. They specifically belong to that address. Is that correct?
Yes, and they have the numbers on them. So they'll have, either the address number or, a 1-2, a 1-1, and then that goes with whatever, apartment or townhouse, unit, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
And the same works in condo areas of Northern Virginia, even some apartment areas, but they all have their assigned spots. And if you don't have an actual assigned spot, then some places you have the sticker,
yes,
which goes in your car, which you'll find in a lot of condominiums in the Northern Virginia area, or even apartment complexes where you get a sticker, a guest pass, and that's what you would display in your window.
So with this townhome, that we were renting, the cable guy was parked in my parking space. My wife's car was in our secondary parking space. And I chose to move my car to the side of the townhome complex. Now, I didn't realize at the time that if you park where the sidewalk meets the street, if it's yellow, that's allotted to the fire department. And if you park there, you'd be in violation of parking rules, wherever the case may be. I parked in an area that was a tad bit over the yellow line, so I guess I was in violation or whatever. But neighbors was outside. They were seeing me go into my rental home, and they seen me. They seen I was parked there. I was brand new. Of course, I didn't look like I've been in that neighborhood before. Yeah. So whatever the case may be, I parked there. I came out maybe like 10 minutes later because there were some movers there that was going to move our stuff in once the cable guy was finished. My car was gone. And I'm panicking like, where the hell did my car go? And I'm out there looking out. Blink of an eye. All the neighbors that was in the neighborhood, most people that was out at the time, they was already in the house. I'm like, what's going on? I walked around a little bit. I seen a sign about towing. I'm like, nah, it can't be my car. I called a number. My car was towed. Right. I try to find out who towed the car. But the movers that were moving our stuff in, they seen the whole thing go down. They didn't really speak English, but the guy was telling me that guy from that house, the one that called. So I went to the guy's house, confronted the guy. I was angry, of course. Guy was a bitch, but he didn't need to call the tow truck company. He seen me. He was outside at the time. He seen me going to the townhome. Whatever the case may be, I had to pay a lot of money just to retrieve my car, which is, 30 minutes later, I was out of like $100. But the reason why I told you that story is because there was a guy that made a video on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a story about his parking spaces that belong to his specific apartment.
Yeah, so pretty much there was a TikTok video that went viral where a guy lives in an apartment place. He pays for his parking spot. He, pays for the unit he lives in and other things. And so he took to TikTok to ask, should he have this car towed? And the car had been there. It was a holiday weekend, I think Memorial Day weekend. The car had been parked in his spot. He let it stay for the whole day, and it was still there by, I think, midnight of the next day.
Now, in the article, it said apartment, but did it mean townhome, or was it actually an apartment?
I don't know. It's not very clear.
Okay.
And that's where he asked, should he get it towed? So it's not clear whether it's an apartment to where, he has an assigned spot, or he parks in that same spot and has never had an issue with any other people because they all just kind of park in the same spots they park in, or if it was his assigned spot. He said it was his assigned spot he paid for. So I'm assuming that, this is his spot, and so he's taking to TikTok to ask people, should he have the car towed or not?
Well, let's listen to his video. Do you have it queued up?
Yes, I have it queued up here, and I'm going to play it. I just wanted to give you...
And I was...
I'm going to ask y'all a question, and I need a real honest answer. I live in an apartment complex. I pay real money to live in this apartment complex. I pay for 2 of these bedrooms, 2 of these bathrooms, and a parking space downstairs, okay? So, I came home this morning, Memorial Day. Happy holidays. I came home this morning. Somebody was parking my parking space. I was like, okay, whatever. You know what? It's the holiday. Maybe somebody got real drunk last night. They spent the night at their friend's house. I wasn't here. I spent the night somewhere else. So it's like, it's okay. I'm going to give you this. When I come home tonight, they won't be here.
That was nice of them.
I have left and come home damn near midnight. And they are still in my spot. Now, would I be wrong if I called the tow truck? Because I did find the parking spaces farther from my apartment than the spot that I pay for. But it's not the spot that I pay for. So would I be wrong if I called the tow truck? Because at this point, I'm annoyed.
Okay. So, does he have the right to tow?
Exactly. Well, he definitely has the right to tow. I mean,
should he just let it go?
No. You pay for that parking spot. He should have the right to tow.
In their house that everybody thinks is so cool.
Sorry about that. But should he... Hold on. There we go. Hold on. So should he have that car towed then? He gave it a full day.
Yeah, he gave it a full day. He didn't have to give it a full day. It was his right. It's his parking spot. He pays for it. That's like akin to, you coming off holiday vacation and then you go into your apartment and somebody's living in one of your bedrooms. Well, that can't happen, right? That bedroom belongs to you. You pay the rent. So, yeah, I don't really think it's a big deal. He definitely should have called the police.
Well, and I agree. I mean,
it was a little bit different than the situation that I spoke about at the beginning of this podcast because I didn't occupy anybody's parking space. I was new to the neighborhood, and the neighbor, all he had to do was simply come out and say, hey, my man, just kind of move back a little bit because you're on this one parking spot, right?
Right.
He didn't have to call. It's like if I was parked in his parking space, that would have been something different.
Right.
But even then, I would expect him, if he seen me out, to kind of walk up to me and let me know that it's his parking space. Well, in this particular case, this guy gave it a day. Like, he said, I'm going to give you a day, right? And the guy, still didn't move his car.
No, I agree with you. He does have the right to have the car towed because in any other situation, especially in the area we live in Northern Virginia, and I'm faced with this a lot, even when I'm just doing a showing and I may go take a client to show a property, I always look to see the parking spaces. And a lot of times, hopefully if it's a listing agent, I know I try to do, if I'm listing a property, put the parking spots in there if they're, designated for that place, so that if somebody is coming to see the property, they can park in the proper spots if the visitor spots around there are not too close by. Now, in this case, he did say he found another spot that he parked in, but he specifically pays for a parking spot that's close to his apartment of going into the door, just like he pays for the 2 bedrooms that he lives in. So he has every right to tow. He was gracious enough. Some people wouldn't even wait it the whole day. Mm-hmm. He was gracious enough to wait the whole day. I will say one recommendation, and I always, tell people and recommend, is that maybe before you tow, if you know the house that the person's in, or, that's why it's kind of nice to be neighborly. So then you can say, hey, I think somebody's, visiting your place here. Can you ask them to move their car? They're in my spot.
Yeah, if you could figure that out.
So
now, if you had an apartment,
seems like he couldn't figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, if you had an apartment complex, that may a little bit more be a tougher job to do than somebody that lives in a townhome, right?
Correct.
And now, I mean, he probably could have wrote a message and put it on the guy's window, wherever the case may be. Somebody at that apartment complex, wherever that guy was staying at, should have notified him. Or at least should have asked him when he first showed up, because obviously he must have been new to the neighborhood. Hey, where are you parked at? Right? Make sure you're not parked. And I'm pretty sure there was a number on that parking space. If there are a number on somebody's parking space, you got to assume that that number is related to like a specific apartment, whatever, and it belongs to them. We have this situation sometimes at work where at the installation that I work at, you have parking spaces that belong to specific individuals, right? Because of their rank. And if you park in one of those parking spaces and they find out, they can call the base and have your car towed. Now, so this is a crazy story. So one time at work, this guy, he was a GS14 and he had his own parking space. Well, there was a car parked into his parking space, right? So what the guy decided to do, which he didn't get the guy's car towed. He didn't tow the guy's car, but he took some lipstick from one of his coworkers and wrote, I forgot what the message was because I kind of overheard him telling somebody this. He was so hyped to do it. He wrote a message on the guy's car with some lipstick.
Oh, man.
Right? And okay, that was an a-hole thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But then again, it was his parking space. When something belongs to you, you can be very possessive of it.
Well, and you can kind of do the similar. I mean, when you go to the stores nowadays, we all know that the parking spots that are usually up closer or those for the, usually it's the elder or the handicap spots, you have to have the sticker to park there. So it's almost similar where when you're in, an apartment complex, if you, are paying for a spot closer to the door, you want to be able to park in your spot. Or if you're in a townhome and you have your one spot, because some townhomes you have the one spot in front of the door and then your secondary spot may be across the way or a couple of, spots down. They may not be right next to each other. Some instances they are, which is nice, but some they may not be. I know in our very first apartment, there was the one in front of the door and the one kind of across the street, the spots we have. Now we have two spots right in front of our door. So it kind of just depends. But I always say that, it's best if you're visiting somebody, park in a visitor spot. Most of them have them. They're far enough away from the,
or ask the person about the parking situation.
Ask them if
is it open parking?
Right. If they have a vehicle in one spot, can you park in their other spot? And like you said, do your, ask them. And if you live in a neighborhood that has assigned parking or an apartment and you have people visiting, ask them where they parked at. Hey, did you park in a visitor spot? Oh, that's a neighbor spot. Don't park there. Like, I think if we all, be courteous, because the tow trucks are there at a drop of the dime. I mean, it was a blink of an eye and your car was gone that fast and in a hurry. We didn't hear the tow truck hook up. We didn't hear none of that. He just latched on and took your car away quick.
But I do want to talk about if you are looking to rent a townhome in North Virginia or buy a townhome or a condo, because this could apply to a condo, make sure you ask about the parking. How many parking spots come with this townhome? Parking spots do add value to your home. And if you do not, there are some townhomes out there that don't have parking spots. It's open parking, right?
Correct.
Which I'm not going to pay a lot of money for a living space and I don't have assigned parking.
Well, and you got to think about too the area, because I will say this, if you guys are familiar with the Arlington area, a lot of times you have an assigned parking spot in some of those townhomes or even some of the nice homes, depending on how, where they are within Arlington. But you can always go to the county and add additional parking spots, and you would just get passes. And that kind of works too in some other HOA communities if you need it more. But that's a very great point you make, is before you, once you go do your, viewing of a property, you're buying it, or if you're renting it, make sure you understand, one, how many parking spots does the unit come with? Is that enough for you and your family based on the number of cars or, people you have? Where's the visitor spots when you do have guests come over? Because that all plays into, you owning that property or renting that property, because you don't want to have neighbors, especially if you rent. You don't want to have problems with neighbors to where they're calling the property management company or even the homeowners of that property, because you're not, parking in spots that are necessary. Yeah. So definitely make sure you ask. It's a great question to ask your realtor. Hopefully it's me. If you ever need help in the Northern Virginia area, it's a great question to ask me, and I will make sure that, I do my due diligence and find out where the parking spots are for you.
Yeah. All right. So moving on for our love topic, I came across this, it's not really like an article, but it's like a posting. It was on New York Magazine on Instagram. And there was a guy that he's having problems within his marriage. And he asked New York Magazine, I guess, what he should do to rectify the problem. So let me read this posting and then we can react to it. So he said, I recently snooped in my wife's phone and discovered dozens of texts to her coworkers and some of our mutual friends, all saying awful things about me and airing petty grievances from my personal life. Among the topics of the texts was my unemployment. I recently gave up my nearly 10-year successful career in real estate to move to a new city and state so our daughter can go to a better school. I haven't figured out my next move yet, but I've been applying and interviewing for jobs. I received multiple offers, but none have been the right fit. My wife's texts portray me as a deadbeat loser, and she questions why she stayed with me, lamenting what a burden it has been for her. I'll note that our mortgage and our mutual bills have been paid for the last 6 months from the proceeds of selling our house when we moved. So my unemployment has caused zero financial burden. I can't get past the things she said and the betrayal I feel, and I'm considering asking for a separation. But I'm scared to bring it up because of the invasion of her privacy that led me to discovering the text messages. What is the ethical path forward? Oh man, this is tough on many levels. I have a lot of questions about this guy's particular situation, but this is really tough. I can
tell you the first mistake is the snooping. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, if he's snooping, he was looking for other things. I think, maybe infidelities or whatnot.
There had to be some kind of suspicion there.
Yeah, there's some suspicion there. Secondly, I feel for the guy in the sense that, he found his wife discussing their, marital issues.
Well, she was discussing it with her friends. Okay. And then, this is a couple questions that I have for it. She was saying things about their marriage to her friends, which women do, right? Even men do it. And I'm just going to put it on women, right? And he said that it wasn't just her friends, it was mutual friends. I don't know exactly what that means.
Meaning that probably friends that he knows and she knows, and they're both friends together.
Yeah, but so is it like really her friends and then is his friends by default?
Well, it's probably like her girlfriends, but then he knows their husbands, and we all know that.
That's by default.
Then. Yeah, but we all know that, like, if you're all in a group and talking and stuff, you know what I mean? We do that. I'll share stuff that I found out from the wife,
But I think that this guy's predicament, and I feel sorry for him, but it's something that he probably put himself in. This is the reason why. He said, I recently gave up a nearly 10-year successful career in real estate. Why would you give that up for when you don't have nothing else to lean on? You had no backup plan, but you gave up a 10-year successful career in real estate, right? In order to give that up, here, let me finish. In order to give that up, do you have any discussions with your wife about giving that up? Or you just arbitrarily just did it on your own, which will piss off your significant other, right? If you just made a decision on your own. And then one thing before I want you to respond to, he said that the reason why he gave up this 10-year successful career in real estate was to move to a new city and state so his daughter can go to a better school. Please tell me, why in the hell did he have to move to a new city and a new state in order for his daughter to go to school?
But here's another thing too. You can do real estate anywhere.
Yeah, I understand that. But there's more places where you can get more money.
Yeah, but he could have done real estate in the new city and state. He just would have had to take the state real estate license.
Yeah, but then you got to build your clientele back up. It's very difficult to do. You're basically going into somebody else's territory.
True. I mean, yes, but it's not a career to where it's an office job that he would have had to try to transfer and stuff.
So you were saying that he could practice real estate anywhere, which he can though, but it's difficult. If you're doing real estate in Mississippi and you're very successful at it, and you move to Alabama, well, first thing, it's going to be difficult for you. It's not going to be difficult, but it's going to take a minute for you to build up your face card and your clientele, right?
No, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And he'll probably still have, if he's a real estate agent, he may, be able to have a few referrals, and I get that, but I think that it's still something that I can understand him saying he gave up that 10-year career in the state and city he was in, mm-hmm. and he's been looking, but he already is a very successful for 10 years agent. So there is something to be said with going into another city or state.
He must have some kind of skills.
And being able to pick that back up again. Granted, it may not be as robust as you had after being in there for 10 years, but mm-hmm. you're still going to be able to, make a little bit of money while you maybe look for something steady. It sounded as if he quit his job, moved to a whole city and state, and then has been looking.
Well, it sounded like he didn't even consult his wife.
True.
About this. That's probably why she's kind of pissed about this too. And then answer this question: why do you got to move to a new city and a new state for your daughter to have a better school? And now there's a lot of unknowns
about the situation.
But it just doesn't make sense. That statement alone doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think he necessarily. But let me ask you this though: is it right for her to then? It sounds as if she was saying all of this in almost of resentment of him, because she seems to be upset that he kind of made this decision.
But wouldn't you be upset?
Yeah, because it sounds like he made this decision without consulting her or discussing what his plan was.
So she was basically telling her friends about how she felt in the mirror. She blowing off steam. I mean, she has the right to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm kind of curious about, he said petty grievances though, so they could be like a little BS stuff that every couple goes through. That's nothing to really get a big deal about. But she said, my wife Texas portrayed me as a deadbeat loser. Maybe that's him projecting.
So was he telling other folks this because he's leaving her, what he should do?
No. He just asking how he should handle this situation, right? He did not. He said that he considering asking for a separation, but I think even that is, he's saying that because he's insecure right now because he doesn't have a job, right? So he said that his wife, Texas, portrayed me as a deadbeat loser. That's probably not really the case. That's probably how he sees himself right now because he's out of a job. So when he reads something from her, he's making it seem like it's worse than what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? I don't think he should ask for separation. I think they probably both need to go to counseling and maybe do a couples therapy or even just talk to each other. And she probably feels a certain way with the move and everything. And then obviously he's feeling some type of way, like you said, projecting of where he's he's been trying to find a job, trying to figure out, what he's good at that he wants to do. Because it's so he probably is, what they probably should do is go to some type of marriage counseling, couples therapy, something, I don't think it's means for separation, but they definitely need to communicate with each other. And it sounds as if she needs to be telling him how she's feeling about the career change that he's made, which sounds as if he maybe didn't consult her. Mm-hmm. And then he needs to be talking to her about, what, obviously he went through her phone. He's seen all of this. It, hurt him, obviously, because he's bringing it to social media. And then they need to discuss it. I don't think it's grounds for separation. I think they're both, he's trying to figure out his next career move, and she's trying to figure out, why he did this maybe without consulting her.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely need a conversation. There's a breakdown in communication between the two.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy just says stuff that just kind of just confuses me. He said that first I guess I'm making the presumption that since he was a successful real estate agent in the prior state, that he's trying to do the same thing in this state. But he also says that he's been applying and interviewing for jobs. Now get this. He said he received multiple offers, but none have been the right fit.
And that's what makes me think, I would say this, as a real estate agent, you have your flexibility. Like you set your, time schedule. You can, set your appointments. It's, you kind of making your day. And, the harder you work, the more successful you are.
So you used to working by himself.
So he's used to being by himself, setting his own hours. I think what he's been applying for are these 9-to-5 jobs where he has to check in with the boss. And that's where it's not been a good fit for him because he hasn't done that in over 10 years.
Yeah,
so
but you didn't expect that when you made this decision? I mean, people don't look at it's crazy to me that people don't look ahead to what could possibly happen once you make a decision. Yeah. This guy never thought about that? What do you think was going to happen? You think you're going to move to a new city or state and somebody's going to be able to feed you? No, of course not, dude. You should have been prepared for this. And I'm pretty sure if you could do a survey right now, 90% of the people in America hate their job, hate going into it.
Yeah.
But they do it because they have families to feed. And it's for survival, right? So what I would recommend this guy do is get your ass off the couch and choose a job and go to it.
Yeah.
Choose a job and go to it. But then also communicate with your wife. Yeah. Communicate back and forth. Tell her, hey, this is, if you want to be the type of dude that just, arbitrarily make a decision like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Well, explain to her why we're going to do it. Explain to her how this is going to work. Say, hey, we moving to a new city, new state because I think this would be the best fit for our daughter. The proceeds from selling our house, that's going to pay bills for like a month, but then we're going to use that remainder for savings because I want to quickly get a job.
Yeah.
And work it, right? He talking about there's no financial burden because the proceeds we got from selling a home is taking care of our finances. But dude, that's all that equity that you built into that home over the years is just being thrown away right now because you're sitting on your ass, man. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's trying.
He's not trying. He said, I received multiple offers, but none have been a fit. Because I'm not trying.
Because I think he's looking for something that he's similar to what he's been doing.
Everybody's looking for something that think that they want to be better.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's about the perception, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're here on this nice resort. There was people that's working in the restaurant that probably want to be the director, right? But they didn't get the director position. So they're working in the restaurant. And what they're doing, they're going to work. Yeah. Why are they going to work? Because they got to feed themselves, right?
You right.
All right. So, I mean, I feel sorry for my man, but separation is not the end. I don't think this is something that warrants a separation.
No, I agree. I think they just need communication between the two of them. And like you said, he may have to do some grunt work to bring in some income until he can get to a place where he can maybe establish that real estate career again.
And not just bringing in income too, to have savings. Because he's talking about he's living off the proceeds that you have from selling the home. Or that should be put into savings or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that it's not just you bringing in money, it's you just making your family more secure. But one thing I want to say before we end this conversation is that he ended it with a question. And he said, what is the ethical path forward? The ethical path forward. Do you know why I have a problem with that particular question?
Why?
He said ethical. Well, if you're looking for the ethical part forward, dude, you should never snooped on your wife's phone anyway. That's an invasion of privacy. So that's not really ethical to begin with, is it?
That's true.
All right. So I don't know. My man's all over the place though, man. But I wish him the best of luck, and I wish him and his wife the best of luck, and hopefully their marriage will get better. And
the life lesson is to just talk to your spouse.
Just talk to him.
You know, you don't have to, I guess, and on her part, text behind his back. She needs to be able to feel comfortable coming to him to talk. And before you make any decisions that could affect the family as a whole, it's best to talk to your significant other about those big life-changing decisions and make sure both parties are on the same path.
Well, I got to ask you now, though, before we end this. Do you talk about me? Do you talk about our marriage, good or bad, to your friends?
I do.
Yeah, I do the same thing, too.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think I won't say anything that could degrade you, but
no.
I say things about our marriage, and maybe that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
And then my man he's seeing that, he projecting like, oh, she's saying that, well, I'm just a deadbeat. I mean, she's probably not saying that. She's probably saying, wish his ass would get up and get a job. Yeah. I'm not saying you're a deadbeat. They're just saying she wants you to get your ass up and get a job, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much money y'all got, her going to work every goddamn day, seeing you not doing anything,
it's frustrating.
It's going to be frustrating for her. Yeah. She's going to have a bad day. She's going to come home, and then she going to look at you, even though your bills is being taken care of from the proceeds of you selling your home. She's going to look at you like, damn, dude, you just a nobody.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. That's my suggestion to the guy. And, I will say that the 2 or 3 listeners that we have on our podcast, if y'all have any questions or comments, please send them to.
So you can email me at Donyell, DONYELL.Allen, ALLEN at C21NM.com for all your real estate questions, or you can find me on Instagram at realtor.DonyellAllen. We love to hear your comments. Leave us a comment, like us, all the good stuff. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, we hope y'all have a good night. Bye.